All right, good morning. Let's hear from one of our sponsors this morning. Let's hear from Tim from Family First Home Inspection.
Hi, my name is Tim McKean, Family First Home Inspections. I've been doing inspections in the Valley for about 17 years. My inspection reports are very user-friendly, very easy to read, easy to understand. And the best part is I email my reports usually within an hour of completing the inspection. I also can order a termite inspection for you, and as an added bonus, I can order a free roof inspection done by a roofing company. My number is 480-577-5501, or you can email me at the address below. Thanks. Have a great day.
All right. Let's see here. We got technical difficulties. All right. So, good morning, everyone.
Okay, here we go.
No. Could you guys hear us? I hope you could.
If you're on, can you? Yes. Okay, thank you.
All right, great. How do you stay open, an open mind and not combative in hard conversations? This is something, especially in the society we live in, is getting very, very difficult in all aspects of life. One of the biggest keys to any relationship is communication, especially hard ones. So we're going to go over some key points today to help you be more open and better communicating. So this week on MidWeek MindFreak, we're going to go over the tips on how to be a better communicator.
Chuck and Angela run multiple million-dollar companies. They are members of Riz Media's Billionaire Club, have coached and mentored thousands of agents, and are international speakers. They say by radically changing your mindset, not only can you change your outlook on life, but affect the actual results you obtain. Welcome to MidWeek MindFreak.
Well, welcome. We're here always to share a good mindset to help you in your life become more successful, happier, more joyful. And, we always say the battle starts in your mind. Let me ask you guys a question. Are you willing to believe that you are wrong about something? And I think that's the premise of the foundation of communication. You might not know exactly what you're wrong about, but that simple observation that you could say, I'm wrong, I just don't know what about, should produce some humility and some willingness to listen, which really does help lay the foundation for a good conversation. Do you value your opinions or truth?
Yeah.
Like what do you have more strength, more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Conviction
about. It's your beliefs or to seek what the truth is, because they're not synonymous. And these are things that you have to challenge yourself in really digging deep down and going, what type of person are you? Are you one that just thinks your beliefs are right and nobody else has any truth behind what they say? Because if you value your own beliefs more than the truth, you will defend yourself to the death. I mean, there's no way around having a conversation if you're just never going to be open-minded. And why would you listen anyway? So if you had a chance at really hearing other people's beliefs and have yourself value the truth more than your own opinion, and you come to conversations with some sort of humility, then you're going to focus on curiosity and understanding. And this is going to be a lot of the foundation of understanding how do you communicate. It's the only approach that will foster good communication. The fact that you have humility going in and you're not planting a flag saying it's my way or the highway. So let's go over some key points to having some really good conversations especially in this day and age.
Yeah, I think if we're honest with ourselves, I mean, we can all point out times where we were like, I can't even believe I thought that way. Like, why did I have that opinion? Right. So the first tip is you need to view your opinions a little differently than we usually do. We usually think my opinion is truth. And instead, when we talk about our opinions, they come out really harsh sometimes, right? When I think you need to share snapshot opinions, think of it as a snapshot, like what you're thinking today. Like hold on to them loosely, because you have to be willing to change your opinion in order to be open-minded. So instead of speaking, I am so guilty of this, instead of speaking emphatically, like everything I'm saying is the truth and the way it goes,
Ain't that the truth? That's probably about the best truth you just gave.
It's so true. It's so true. I even have to remind people when they don't know me very well, hey, listen, I speak as if I know exactly what I'm talking about, and that everything that comes out of my mouth is like the answer, but it's not true, right? So instead of saying,
you used to be the broker of the company. Now all these agents are like, shit, should we have not have listened to you?
It's too late. It's too late. But instead of starting with emphatic statements, how about like, hey, this is where my head's at right now, or at the moment, this is what I'm thinking, or when I hear you say that, I need to practice this one. When I hear you say that, all I can think of is, no way, that can't be right. Can you tell me why? Like I'm reading it that way. I mean, I don't know how you say it, but just consider for a minute that what your opinion is should be malleable. It should be formed and not set in stone. Yeah.
Here's another good one. Acknowledge good points. You know, we enter in conversations as if, who's scoring the most points? And if you want to ever turn around a conversation where everyone's just scoring points, try scoring points for the other side. Now think about that for a minute. I mean, how often, I know I get into this where you're having these conversations or these debates. And like I said, a lot of them, we're talking about hard conversations where in your mind, you're saying, well, that was a good point. But what you don't do is acknowledge it because you feel like you're giving up leverage as if it's some kind of a contest who scores the most points. So remember, that's what we're talking about, going into conversations with humility. If somebody gives a good point, and I have to say, this is very rare, unless you're just completely talking to a dumbass, it's very rare to go into a conversation where you don't sit and go, wow, that was a good point.
Yeah, when you agree with them, you give them a little confidence, like you're actually having a conversation, not a fight.
Right. And that's what typically happens is we get into both of our minds is scoring points to win instead of creating that humility by actually acknowledging good points that they may have. And here's what I don't want you to do either. If you get into that and you're giving somebody kudos and they don't do it for you, don't stop because you're like, well, they're not doing that for me. Be you. That's how you leverage a good conversation.
Yeah, you're getting way better. Like my husband is the best debater ever. He will win an argument. Like he's so good at it. You're really good at it. And he thrives under pressure instead of some of us who kind of cower emotionally under pressure. And so especially when you talk with someone who's so strong, if you're like Chuck and a great debater, having those little agreements in there just disarms the whole conversation.
Yeah, and I also think that, obviously as you get older and more mature and you see, where conversations are huge for any relationship, I don't go in there with the mindset of I want to win the debate. I go in there to go, wow, I do want to learn. I do like listening to good points. I just had one recently where someone brought up, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And I know in our relationship, it's something that has grown our relationship is because your opinions are your opinions and they're right to you, although I might see it. But if you're open-minded, all of a sudden you can start to see someone else's talking.
Yeah, seek to understand.
Yes.
That's the whole point. Really, actually, that's the theme of today.
What does Miss Rachel have to say?
She always has good things to say. She's so smart.
One of the best things you can do is research and debate for something you don't agree with. It helps you see through someone else's eyes. Absolutely. It's exactly what we're talking about. And she is definitely a researcher, that's for sure.
she can do all my research.
She'll
How about
out-research the
that?
hell out of anyone. Don't try to get into
Don't out-research her.
Don't try to get into facts with her. Just smoke it.
It's the truth. So another tip is, we've heard this a million times. It's so hard. Listen longer. Listen longer. Patience in a conversation is so hard, especially if it's a little bit emotional or you're feeling defensive. Being patient, though, a patient listener can pay off. And I thought of it a little different than I've talked about it before. You're supposed to listen longer, of course, because I have this terrible habit of interrupting, right? I'm going to say my thought as soon as it comes into my head instead of listening to the rest of what somebody else is saying. That's a problem I think a lot of us have. But the other thing is I don't know about you, but when I'm speaking out loud about something, it helps me to form my thought. And so sometimes I start a conversation and my thought's not quite formed, so it doesn't come out quite right. And then as I speak, I get clearer. So if that's true of me, it's got to be true of other people too. So if you're
So it's almost like you have a conversation with yourself.
Kind of, yeah.
Yes.
If you listen long enough, maybe that person will be able to clearly communicate better, and then you can have a better conversation. So listening longer it can happen the opposite way too. Give somebody enough rope, they'll hang themselves. That can happen too. But listening longer is nothing but good.
Yeah. The next one is learn how to say I don't know when you really don't know. It's crazy how rare this is. And this is absolutely a root of pride and ego, period. No humility. That if someone doesn't know something or they say something, don't try to debate them with the bullshit. Say, I don't know. And listen, nobody knows everything. And even if somebody doesn't want to admit it, they're full of shit. They don't know
They
everything.
don't know.
Well, maybe Rachel might know everything. I don't know. But a candid I don't know is a signal that you're not in it to win it. You're not in it to have to seem like you're always on top. It's an impressive statement to show someone, look, I care about the conversation, that I'm really listening to you. That's in that sense, I find when people say, I don't know, that adds a whole level of credibility and honesty in a relationship. So guys, look, if you're in a debate or a conversation and you don't know something, don't hesitate to say, I don't know. It does not make you inferior. As a matter of fact, in people's eyes, especially myself, if you said that, that actually puts you a step above.
Yeah, yesterday I had to sit through an interview with the Department of Labor. I've never felt so stupid in my entire life. I said, I don't know, more times than I think I've ever said in one conversation, because I had no idea of the answers to the questions.
You know what that just showed? Like in your conversations with me, you should say, I don't know a lot.
Yeah.
But because you know what? There's no repercussion.
The hell there's not. Okay. The next tip that I have is hit reset. Like pause. I don't care if it's a text conversation, a verbal conversation. Sometimes when things get a little emotional and heated, taking a break or taking a breath or getting up and getting a glass of water or whatever, that hitting reset, just taking a second, can diffuse an otherwise adversarial conversation. It gives you time to breathe. It's like a good yawn. You know what I mean? It's catchy. If you hit reset, other people will more than likely hit reset with you if you do it well. So just that little pause or little break in the conversation can also help the communication to move forward in a positive way.
The next one is change the question. What does that mean, change the question? A really good way to switch from being out to prove something than to learn something is actually changing the question. So if someone says something and you really are seeking to understand, you may not go, you may change the question so that you can get more information on it. Instead of just glancing over their questions to debate them, instead of asking whose perspective wins, ask what makes each perspective understandable. And so by asking questions is seeking to learn. It's actually showing the other side that you are trying to have humility and trying to understand what they meant by something. So that's a big one, by changing the question and asking questions.
I think that you're a really good question asker.
I'm a good question asker.
Yes.
Yes.
You really are.
Mm-hmm. Are you done?
Yeah, because the other one was acknowledge agreement, but that's really close to what you were saying when you say, hey, that was a good point. You know, when you agree with something that somebody's saying, that's the same as acknowledging a point. So that was my last one. It just really disarms you.
You know, to really sum it all up, guys, you want to be good in relationships, because you got to admit, I don't care whether it comes from politics, religion, anything. We are in a world of divisiveness, and the divisiveness is because no one's seeking to understand. And so you have to ask yourself, look, you could change your world, and you want to make your life happier, and you want to form better relationships in advance. I'm going to tell you right now, instead of always trying to hunt for your edge, learn how to form relationships, because I can guarantee you will definitely be way more happier, and you will definitely be way more successful when you're not always out to sabotage someone else. You're not always out seeking for a weakness or their slip up or a contradiction in their remarks to attack and exploit. Get over trying to be picky.
Yeah. All of these things that we were talking about, if you think about it, it's caring for people, right? When you seek to understand, when you listen better, when you point out good points, you're really caring for the other person.
Yeah.
Instead of caring about yourself and your opinion.
And here's one thing I have learned is, because I do like to debate.
He's so good.
It comes from my past. I do get sharper. Most people don't get sharper. And what happens is I know for me, and if you're out there like myself, you read way too much into every misstatement. And when you read into it, you take it as that's the person doing it. I got you.
Yeah.
But when people fold under pressure, they don't even remember what they're saying.
It's true.
And so it's a two-sided street, guys. We're just trying to give you some good pointers to stop looking for the win and start looking to learn and grow. And here's the bottom line to it. We're not asking you or saying that you have to agree with everything someone says. At the end of the day, your viewpoints could be totally different. Now, here's what could happen when viewpoints are totally different. If you're not like-minded, it may be difficult to have a relationship, a close relationship, but it doesn't have to mean you have to be enemies or combative.
Right.
And I will tell you, when you start to operate your life that way, you're going to be way more happier. You're going to attract way more people, and you'll do way more business. So
because then you're not always pissing people off.
Yeah, where people look at you and they go, I can't stand that person. And it's because they're always attack.
Well, I don't care if I piss some people off.
Yeah, some people, you're right. But some people aren't meant to be in your life. Guys, if you want to partner up with us, you know, we love being around like-minded people. We love how people grow in their business. Like I say, iron sharpens iron. Proverbs 27:17, you know, God's word always stands true to us. So if you are looking for a change in your life and you're in real estate, come seek us out. We love looking for partners, and tell people about MidWeek MindFreak. Maybe they could get their mindset, and we could all have a better world to live in. God bless you guys. We probably won't see you next week. We don't know yet. Might be out of town. Anyway, God bless. Have a great day.